John, very good to see you. Happy New Year. Today we are sharing 5 financial resolutions for a happy and successful 2024. We are revisiting this annual favorite, but with some new resolutions. Today we are sharing our top 5. And resolution number 1, meet your match. Or as my dad says, don't leave free money on the table.
I think this is my favorite one every year. So meet your match without a doubt is got to be someone that everybody's paying attention to. Ultimately, what I say is you're ultimately leaving money with your employer when you could be contributing and having that guaranteed return. So maybe they match 3%, maybe they match 6%. That is a guaranteed 3% or 6% on your money, and you cannot afford not to take advantage of it.
Right, right. Resolution number 2, contribute more to your retirement accounts. I'm wondering though, is there a specific percentage that should be our goal? And of that, how much should be going into our Roth accounts?
This is a tough one. I was just at a Bible study this morning. It was one of those things where we were talking about worrying about what other people around us are, what's going on in their life instead of looking at our own.
Yeah.
I think that when you're doing your financial plan, you got to look at yourself and what you can do as a family. You're kind of sometimes balancing kids, mortgages, and all that. So, there's a lot of that. What's best, if you contribute to a Roth, you're probably better off long term because then you don't have to worry about the taxes later on. If you're kind of standing more of in a budget scenario, sometimes it's better to have that tax deferral so you can maybe have that income tax refund that comes in. And I know a lot of people who depend on that. And if you don't need it, you could always add it to your savings in a different way. So it's a balancing act, and really you have to look kind of within your family and what works with your budget, which will be coming up here shortly.
Yeah, different for everybody. Resolution number 3, create a budget. John, I'm going to be honest, I feel like this is always on my resolutions, and it's kind of the first one to slide by the wayside.
Sure. The retirement accounts are a little bit easier because usually that's set up through your retirement account at work
Right.
and out of sight, out of mind. And a lot of times you kind of have to have that same mentality when it comes to saving and creating that budget. Because really, you can't save without having some sort of a budget, even if it's a
Right.
general budget. You got to have an idea. And the thing you want to do is get started saving. And if you can get that ball rolling, it could be $50 a month, it could be $100 a month. But as time goes on, and all of a sudden, you're 60 years old and you've been doing that for 30, 40 years, something that could be pretty impactful for your life.
Right, right. Well said. All right, resolution number 4, build an emergency fund.
Sure, and I would say this is in the same breath.
Mm-hmm.
You're contributing to that retirement account, and a lot of times the hesitation to put that in there is there's a 10% penalty if you have to pull that money out. And so, I think that does make a little bit of hesitation for some people to contribute. But with all the savings that's been inside the retirement accounts over these last few years, I would argue that there's a shortfall in a lot of people's circumstance investing outside of that retirement account. And that's where I would think you could take advantage of saving for the market. But if you have to move, if someone your job changes, and all of a sudden you're going from Ohio to Florida, you want to be able to get your hands on some money. Maybe you have to pay for a mortgage. Maybe you need it for a down payment. All those type of things. Saving money outside of your retirement account in an investment account, brokerage account, could be a way of blending the two together.
Right, right. And then resolution number 5 is insure yourself. That emergency fund is a great first step, but insuring yourself means that you're taking care of yourself and your family in case the worst happens.
A couple of years ago, I had someone's husband passed away kind of unexpectedly. Had to do with COVID a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, she had this death benefit that came in. And she didn't want to sell her home and those type of things.
Of course.
She didn't know what she wanted. So long and the short, this death benefit came in, and it ended up becoming how she purchased a condo without having to sell her home first. And so there's a lot of different ways you can use life insurance, but what it does is it gives you room and your beneficiaries room to decide what needs to happen next without having to panic sell or do something because some advisor comes out and tells them to take all this money and put it into something maybe they shouldn't.
Right, right.
So
It comes down to, peace of mind.
It is. It's peace of mind, and just it gives you flexibility. Your
Right.
beneficiary flexibility down the road,
Right.
and so they're taken care of.
I'm really glad we got to talk this through, John. Clearly, some of these are personalized resolutions, but if somebody would like to talk to you more about their financial resolutions or goals, or if they'd like your help holding them accountable, what's the best way to reach you?
Yes, 440-471-4300. Give us a call. We try to keep things pretty light here. And people come in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But a lot of times we can give them a lot of good food for thought, and usually it ends up working out.
Perfect. All right, John, thanks again for your help and your time, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you. Take care.